Hello and welcome to another edition of the Students Cookery. Well, it's Sunday, it's football time, and we're ready to make some soup. So today we're going to make a creamy roasted pepper soup, and we got some roasted peppers here that I did last night while I was making a nice little roast beef to have sandwiches with this. And pretty much you take your red peppers, and I seeded mine, cut them in half, olive oil, salt, put them on a pan and roasted them at 325 or 350 it was, while the roast beef was going. Once they were done, you take them and you put them in a bowl with saran wrap covering them and let them sit there. As they steam, they will steam away and you can peel the skins right off. Then I let them cool, and then I made some little strips out of them. So now we got some strips. Let's see what we got here ingredient wise. So for the ingredients today, we're going to have 3 cups of vegetable stock that I made the other day. We're going to have 1 onion diced up. We're going to have 2 cloves of garlic, and we're going to have a little olive oil. So let's get started here. And we have this, and we're going to put it on high, and we'll get started with our soup here. So first we're going to get a little olive oil in the bottom. Now, my peppers actually had olive oil on them, so we have a little bit on there, so we don't have to worry about it. So once that gets heated up a little bit, we're going to drop our onions in there, and we'll get started. All right, so welcome back, and we got our olive oil heated up here good. And next step, we're going to do I'm going to throw in our onions. I'm going to let them get nice and soft. This is a real simple recipe. We're only going to have, my assistant, can you get the cream out of the fridge, please? There's not much to this recipe. There we go. So we got 1 onion diced. And let that sweat out a little bit. Once that sweats a little bit, I'm going to throw the garlic in because I don't want the garlic to get burned at all. I want to get this done before the Cowboy game starts today. But right now we're watching the Jets beat the Bengals. And we're having a few beers, right?
Yep.
We still got some summer ale going on here. Probably going to switch maybe to some nice Oktoberfest coming up pretty soon. So we got our onions. We're going to put the garlic in and the peppers. And then we have our little bit of salt and pepper, and we have a vegetable stock. And while that's cooking down, we're going to let it cook down pretty good. And then we're going to use an immersion blender. And we're going to get it nice and creamy. After we're done getting it all blended up in the immersion blender, then we're going to add a little bit of our heavy cream. So the recipe calls for cooking cream. But when I looked it up and Googled it, it kind of said that I needed heavy cream. So we're just going to go with some heavy whipping cream. I hope that looks good. Alright, so once these get soft, we'll check back with you, and we'll put the garlic in a little bit. Okay, welcome back. And we're here again, and now we got our onions looking pretty good. You can see from the other angle here. Let's get some, I got it down medium-low. Let's get our garlic in here. So a while back, we were making a compound butter, and we had a lot of garlic left over from that. The compound butter was actually for steaks. So what we did was, my wife took the garlic, and she minced it real fine in a little Ninja food processor, and in doing so, she then mixed it with some olive oil, and we froze it into little ice cube trays. So now we have 1 tablespoon of minced garlic ready to go whenever we need it. All right, I think I might go a little lower on my temperature here. All right, so now let's get our peppers in. Okay, so we get our peppers in now. Looks good. Now you can smoke these peppers. You can buy a can of roasted peppers, jar roasted peppers at the store. It doesn't matter. You want to make it real simple? You can buy a jar of roasted peppers. You can buy an onion already diced. You can buy your garlic already minced. And vegetable stock you can buy in a jar, can, whatever you want, whatever you call it, one of those cardboard containers. So, it doesn't matter what you want to do. So I'm going to let this cook down a minute here. And then we're going to add in our vegetable stock. But let's put this cream back in the fridge for now, till we need it a little later. Now again, we want to cook our garlic, but we don't want to burn our garlic. So that's why you got to be careful when you put your garlic in. So, seeing as how the red peppers are already roasted, I guess you could put a little white wine in here too, but I'm going to stick to the recipe. Let's get our vegetable stock in here. I'm going to let that cook down. Let that simmer for a good bit here. And once that finishes simmering, I'm going to salt and pepper to taste. And then we're going to use our emulsion blender, and we're going to blend it all up. And then we're going to add our cream once we finish blending it up. All right, we'll check back with you in a little while. Thanks. All right, welcome back. So we've been simmering here a little while, and now it's time to use our immersion blender. This right here. Now, this is just a Hamilton Beach one. I've had other ones, but you don't have to spend a ton of money because you're only going to use it every once in a while. But normally they have 2 settings. So I'm going to turn off the burner here. And you get it in, and you just kind of move stuff around. You can make it as chunky as you want. You definitely want to use a big vessel when you're doing this. We're mixing everything around. Let's see what we got here. Let's get this spoon. Let's see. So we still got some.
Don't make me try it again.
Still got some chunks here. Nice and red. Let's get a little more blending on it. Get rid of some of these bigger chunks. And then we'll be good to go, and then we'll add our cream in. Oh yeah, I like that, just like that. All right, so we got that. Let's just pop this part off. Put that in the sink. I'll put this down here. All right, so now what I like to do is, and I don't think you have to do this every time, is I like to take a little bit of the hot soup and put it into my cream. I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or the soup isn't boiling hot, but I like to mix it in a little bit. So our cream does not get curdled in our soup. But I did take it off the heat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this nice and mixed up. Then I'm going to put it back to the heat. I'm going to let it simmer a little bit. Once it simmers a little bit, sink please. So we get all the goodness off the sides. All right, let's get some pepper in there, some fresh cracked pepper. I remember by using a homemade vegetable broth, vegetable stock, we cut back on the amount of sodium in it. I did put a little bit of salt on the peppers when I roasted them, but let's see what we got here. Let's get a new spoon. Can you reach a new spoon there? Yes. Chef for the future? All right, so let's do this. Okay, let's give it a little try. See what we got here. That is good. Tastes like peppers.
Is it hot?
No, it's got a nice cool flavor right now. You want to try a little?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last time I tried it, I bite my tongue.
No, I know. All right, so I'm going to take another taste quick. Oh yeah, that is awesome. All right, so we're gonna let this, I'm just gonna cook it just a slight bit. It needs to be a little hotter, of course. And then we'll check back you later when we get it in our bowls and when we get it set up with our fresh made roast beef sandwiches. Catch you later. All right, here is our final look of our creamy roasted pepper soup with a fresh made roast beef sandwich that I roasted a chuck roast yesterday and then sliced it real thin on a deli slicer with some dill Havarti cheese. And I used the drippings to make an au jus. So there you go, and let's see if somebody likes the soup or not.
It's very, very, very good.
All right, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time at the Student's Cookery.